and welcome back again. This video is going to be, what I'm basically doing today is I'm redoing the Atom2 video because we've had a slight specification change on the Atom2. Seems to have caused a bit of consternation, but unfortunately specification changes are one of those things that as a supplier we have to have sometimes for a whole variety of reasons. Now what I'm going to do is just quickly recap on the Atom2 itself. I'm going to show you the previous kit and then I'm going to show you the new kit, and if I put them side by side, even if I gave them to you in person, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, because basically the only difference is the click mechanism, which instead of being pre-assembled now comes part assembled. And the main reason for us doing that is so the actual mechanism matches some of our other kits. What that means is we've got a mechanism that we carry spare parts for that fits a whole range of our kits, and we've also had the spring tension changed, so the new one feels it's just slightly stiffer and just a little bit nicer, to be honest. Anyway, I digress. What I'm going to do today is run you through the entire process of making the Atom2. It's a relatively simple kit, as you can see, and it's designed like that for a very good reason. No bells and whistles on the metal parts, because to my mind that's not what wood turning is about. Whether it's wood or acrylic is neither here nor there. It's about the bits that you make and the shape that you make the things. So there's all manner of pen kits with twisty bits, turny bits to put in here, lovely designs. That's not about, it's not about what you've made, it's just about what comes out of a factory at the end of the day, and that is why we've made this single barrel kit, quite a long single barrel, so it exposes and shows off the blank that you're using and your skill as a wood turner and pen finisher. That is the logic. So let me run through exactly from start to finish what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to talk about bushings. Now, with the original Atom2, this is our education program, if you like. We had Atom2 bushings. These are small bushings, and they are turned between centres only. These do not fit on a mandrel. We now have, because so many people have asked for them, ones that also fit on a mandrel. Why you would choose to turn on a mandrel instead of between centres, frankly, is beyond me, because between centres you'll get a really accurate kit. On a mandrel, probably not, because they move a bit. They're convenient, but that's about where the benefits of them end. Some kits you have to have a mandrel for. This one you don't. It'll turn between centres fantastically, and you haven't got to spend, if you're new to wood turning, 25 odd quid on a mandrel in order to finish it. So I've got two sets of bushings. I'm going to be turning between centres, let me tell you, this morning. I've got one of our natural hybrid pen blanks, which is acrylic and metal mixed together in the natural colour. I've already trimmed that to size, and I've got one of our Atom2 pen kits in gunmetal finish. So we obviously do a variety of colours, and I'm going to start off by drilling the blank out and showing you how I do that. So for drilling the blanks, I'm using an 8.7mm drill. You might get away with 9mm, but 8.7 is really the correct size. Now you'll see here that this is one of the drills that we supply, and the flutes are not as long as the blank itself. Is that a problem? No, it isn't, because you do what I believe is called, and an engineer will tell me if I'm wrong here, pecking, i.e. you push the drill in and out to make sure you clear the flutes of the scrap and the swarf that comes out, and you just gradually move it all the way down. Don't drill it all in one go right the way through to the end, because all the swarf from the middle will get stuck in the flutes. It can't get out the end. It'll get very hot and you'll probably end up breaking your blank. So the correct way of doing it, as I say, is pecking in and out, particularly when you get past the end of the flutes, just gently until you get out the other end of the blank. So I've got my drilled blank here, and because I've just drilled it, it's quite warm. Now I'm going to glue the tube in with CA glue. Just beware that when you use CA, if you've got a warm tube, you might find the CA sets absolutely instantly. So it's much better to let it cool down a bit. You can use other glues, it's entirely up to you what glue you use, but for the purpose of filming and getting on with the video, I'm going to use CA into that today. So for the benefit that for anyone that hasn't done a pen before and they're looking at pens at the first time, a little light sanding on the brass tube, because they have a little bit of lacquer on them, it just helps the adhesion with any glue onto the tube and into the blank. I don't normally do this bit on camera because I have to concentrate when I'm gluing, otherwise I get it everywhere. But I've got a homemade tube insertion tool like that. You don't need to buy a metal one, and that I'm going to use just to insert the tube in there when it's got a little bit of glue on it in a moment. Right, now I've got my glue flowing again. What glue is this I'm using, I hear you ask? It is from Screwfix and it is mighty fast. It's about £5 and it comes with an accelerator. Right, I'm then just going to use, let's pop a bit in that end. Let's pop that in there and make sure I've got the tube with a bit of spare at each end. And I'm then going to use the accelerator just to seal that. I'm going to give it a little bit of time just to go off. So once you're happy that the glue is set in the blank, the next thing we need to do is trim the blank level with the end of the tube. And I'm going to stress this now, when you get a pen kit, always use the tube that comes in the kit rather than a spare. That is what I would always recommend. Yes, we do lots of spares, lots of people do lots of spares, but it's a bit like an Airfix kit. You wouldn't pick a bit from one Airfix kit to use in another, would you? It's supplied as a kit for a very good reason. All the parts that you're given are designed to fit together. So what I now need to do is to trim this tube down to the correct length of the brass tube inside. And what I need to do is to trim the blank level with the tube inside. It's the blank being level to the tube that is important, not the other way around. So we need to level up the tube. Now I'm going to take this over to the belt sander and get most of it down pretty near, and then I'm going to use, I don't normally advocate using tools, but a transfer punch set like this, they're not very expensive, 16-20 quid. For anyone that's a pen maker, they're absolutely invaluable in my opinion. I use them for lots and lots of different things. They're called a transfer punch set and they'll be about, I don't know, as I said, 16 quid. If you go and buy a pen disassembly tool, what you'll get is exactly the same, but it'll cost you 10 quid more, because the minute you say pen something, the prices go sky high. I'm going to point out, we don't sell them. So you will see I've got a correct size transfer punch in here, as close to the size of the internal tube as I can there. And the reason for doing that this way, and there's a whole variety of ways of doing this. You might have a barrel trimmer, God forbid if you have one of those horrible things, or a whole variety of other stuff, but this is the way I do it. A transfer punch in a Jacob's chuck at the tailstock end. I've got an arbor blank here with a little bit of sandpaper on here. I'm just going to very gently move the blank up and down on here, because this part is keeping the blank level with the tube, as I say, not the other way around. If you use something like a barrel trimmer in a vise, if you haven't got an exactly square blank, and sometimes blanks aren't completely square, you might find it's a bit squiffy, which is why I use this method. It is of course entirely up to you. The other advantage of trimming that way, and you will see I've got it so I can just see the shiny parts of the tube beginning to emerge. And I'm going to stress this is a clip kit, so the length of the tube and the parts that you make are extremely important. So when it says make it to 99mm, it means 99mm, not 97 and not 101. It means 99 the length of the tube. And I've got my calipers here. This is not to prove I'm clever. I'm just making the point that it's extremely important. I'm slightly out, 99, I don't know whether that's 99.09, I think that reads. So that is close enough. It must be made to the length of the tube, not shorter, not longer. So sorry if I'm repeating myself there. So now we've trimmed that to the right length, we're ready to mount that, and I'm going to mount this between centres and turn it, and then we'll look at the kit assembly at the end. Now the next thing I'm going to talk to you about are mandrels and bushings and live centres. Here is a mandrel, a standard mandrel. Mandrel bushing sets for this kit will fit on here. I'm not sure quite if the camera will pick it up, but there is some movement on there. And it's only a tiny amount of movement, nevertheless it's movement, and that's why I don't like mandrels if I don't have to use them. Now let's look at the bushing set. Oops, you will see that they're flat on the end. The reason that they're flat on the end and not shaped is because some people make these and they make them at 60 degrees. That's fine if you've got a 60-degree live centre. I don't know what angle that one is. And these two that are also part of live centres most certainly are not the same angles, so they won't necessarily work. However, when you've got a flat one, they do work, and we find in tests that the flat-ended ones have far less what's called run out, i.e. they're not running entirely true. There's far less run out on these than there are with shaped bushing sets, so that's why we have these. So what I'm essentially saying, while I wind my tailstock up, is that our bushings will fit on pretty much anything that you've got. If you don't have a dead centre, and that's what this is at this end, it's called a dead centre, i.e. it's actually going to be used as a drive. This is a live centre because it spins, so this one spins, this one doesn't. This is going to be driven by the motor, and our bushings will fit on whatever angle bits that you've got. So let's pop those bushings in. And get it over with a bit of glue I dropped on the lathe earlier, and set that between centres, and it is just pressure that's holding it in together, so we need to turn this at really high speed. The other advantage of turning between centres, particularly if you have a narrow live centre at the tailstock, is you haven't got all this gubbins here to mess around and try and fight your way around, because the tool rest is going to come up nice and close to the actual pen blank itself. And when I've got one, I'll show you. Right, that's how close, if I wanted to, I could get my tool rest to the blank that I'm turning. See if I can zoom in on that a little bit more so you can see. It's actually touching, that's how close it'll get. I don't want it that close, but I could if I wanted to. The other advantage of turning between centres is that I can turn this on and I've really got no knobbly bits to catch my fingers on here. I can't catch my fingers or my tools. I wouldn't suggest you do this, but as you can see, there's not really anything that I'm going to catch my fingers on that's going to do me any damage here. I've sanded this down to 1200 grit. I'm going to use some of our acrylic polishing paste. I'll probably then pop it on the polishing set I've got on another lathe, and then we're ready to look at assembly. So, having finished the blank, we're now going to look at the dreaded assembly when I've had a bit of a tidy up. So first of all, let's have a look at the dreaded click mechanism. It really is very simple. The first thing to say is, unlike some people believe, you don't need any tools. All you need is your refill. So I'm going to take my mechanism sheath. I'm going to take these two parts here and slot them up that way. I'm going to use the refill to push the end up until I can see the little plastic end out. There, I'm going to pop the spring on the end like so, and I'm then going to take the click button and I'm going to screw it onto the thread at the end until it's level with the cap, and then I can hold it and actually check it works. It's very simple. And the question is, I'm not quite sure why it causes so many people problems. That's probably taken me 15 seconds to do that. Now we'll look at assembling the rest of the kit. So I will now take my assembled click mechanism and put over the pocket clip like so. You'll then take the blank and decide, depending on what your blank is like, which way you want to put the blank, which bits you want on show. This is like gold on one side and a kind of silvery grey on the other, so we're going to have the silvery grey towards the nib of the pen, so I'm going to pop that in there. I am not using a pen press, I've just got two arbor ends and I'm just simply going to press home. When I've locked my tailstock off, parts like so. There we go, that's that done. The next thing to do is to take my nib end. The nib and the nib connector are already screwed together. They come pre-screwed like that. At the moment, who knows, it may change in the future. I'm going to pop that in there. Let's wind that back a bit. Just make sure when you do this you haven't got the refill in, because that won't do it any good at all. I'm just going to press those parts together like so. So there we have the finished kit. The only thing that remains for me to do now is to unscrew the end, take the refill, drop it in there, screw the end back on again. I've done that all in one movement, so you can see I haven't stopped the camera. There's nothing clever about it. There's nothing difficult about assembling this part or the nib part or the pen at all. It's just a nice, reliable, it's a positive action click pen, and I am absolutely delighted with that. Hopefully that's been really quite helpful for you to see exactly how easy it is to make that. So generally I don't do entire pen videos, but I just thought, having started it, I might as well show you the entire process from beginning to end on one of our atoms. I'm delighted with that. No idea what's going to happen to it. I shall stick it into one of my collections of hundreds of other pens, because like other suppliers, we make a point of not selling pens to end users. That's your guys' jobs that make the pens, so we don't want to have our cake and eat it, as they would say. So we leave that very much to you. But if I hold that up, I'll do a still in a minute, as I normally do. I'll pop it at the end of the video. That is a nice pen. I hope that's helpful. Thanks very much for joining me again. And until the next video, enjoy your workshop, enjoy your pens, box making, whatever it is you do, enjoy it and do it safely. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye for now.